You just bulldozed the wrong man's past. You just bulldozed the wrong man's past.
They destroyed my father's barn, the only thing he left me. But they didn't know I'm a lawyer, and I was about to bury their entire HOA under their own rules. When my father passed away, his old red barn was all I had left of him. The smell of hay, the carved initials in the beams, the sound of him singing while fixing fences. It wasn't just wood and nail, it was his legacy. But one morning I woke to the roar of engines. The HOA president, Mr. Walker, stood smugly as bulldozers tore down my father's barn. I ran out yelling, "You can't do that! That's private property!" He smirked, holding a clipboard. "The barn violates our community aesthetics. You were warned." I felt my chest tighten, not just in anger, but heartbreak. They didn't even let me save my father's tools. The ground where he once stood was now flattened dirt. But here's what Mr. Walker didn't know. I was a real estate lawyer, and my father had quietly transferred all land titles to a private trust, one that legally exempted it from HOA control. For a week, I said nothing. I let them gloat, even when they bragged at the next HOA meeting about cleaning up the neighborhood. Then I filed my case, HOA v. Property Owners Trust. When the summons arrived, the smug smiles vanished. I didn't just sue for property destruction. I attached claims for trespassing, emotional distress, and unlawful seizure of private land. Court day came. Mr. Walker sat pale in his suit, his arrogance gone. I presented every photo, every email, every time they'd ignored my warnings. The judge leaned forward, eyes narrowing. "So you authorized demolition without a legal inspection?" Walker stammered. "It was community interest." The judge slammed his gavel. "Community interest doesn't override ownership rights. Judgment in favor of the plaintiff." The courtroom gasped. The HOA was ordered to rebuild the barn, every beam, every brick, and pay triple damages. A few months later, I stood watching the workers rebuild my father's barn. The same men who once tore it down were now restoring it piece by piece. I smiled through tears. Justice wasn't just served, it was rebuilt. And when Mr. Walker tried to appeal, his case was dismissed before it even began. The HOA had buried themselves in lawsuits, and I bulldozed right through every one of them. So if anyone ever tells you you're too small to fight back, remember this. Truth and grit can shake even the mightiest walls of arrogance. If this story moved you, please like, subscribe, and share, because sometimes rebuilding isn't just about wood and nails. It's about heart.